Hey everybody, KC here. So there was a headline in the Washington Post the other day that grabbed my attention, partially because it seemed a little reminiscent of something else. The headline read, "Is the sun white or yellow? It's a hot debate and everyone's wrong." And this reminded me of something you may recall from like 6 or 7 years ago when people were debating that the color of that dress. Remember, it was online, and some people saw it as white, gold and white, and some people saw it as black and blue. And a lot of it had to do with, the way people's eyes sort of filter different kinds of colors. And as you might expect, that's certainly the case here too. That basically the observation was made online by somebody on social media, because that's how these things happen, that the sun somehow seemed whiter than it used to be. It used to seem more yellow. But in fact, according to the Washington Post, from 93 million miles a day away, the sun usually looks like a white spot in the sky. But the reason many people perceive a yellow tint has to do with the way light is scattered. Molecules in the air redirect sunlight's blue and violet wavelengths, allowing more yellow and red ones to hit our eyes. As the day turns into night, sunlight has to pass through a thicker atmosphere, and that's why one of the reasons the sun looks more orange and more red. And so a lot of it has to do with sometimes where you were brought up, how your eyes sort of developed as you became, as a child, became an adult, and a lot of it has to do with atmosphere. But here's the really interesting thing is everybody's wrong. That if there were no atmosphere and our eyes were able to were able to see the sun directly without any filters and without any sort of change in resolution, the sun will look green. We actually have a green sun. And that's really, really fascinating. That in fact, the actual color of the sun is not what anybody sees. I always think that's a really good metaphor, right? And it's the same metaphor in a lot of ways we had with the dress. Just because you see things a certain way doesn't mean that's the way things are. It's really important to be open to the idea that there are other influences that are affecting how you see things. And, whether it's in life, in business, or whatever it happens to be open to the idea that things are not always the way you think they are. By the way, this does actually create another problem, though, as well. And this one is a lot more serious. I grew up reading Superman comic books. Superman gets his powers from the yellow sun. I think they're going to have to go back at DC Comics and rewrite everything, and they're going to have to redo canon because, in fact, the sun is green. That changes everything. Where is Superman getting his powers after all? These are the things I want to know. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning, and as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.